morning, welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm continuing on with my mini tractor build. So this thing is going to be turned into a mini tractor as I explained before. If you didn't see that video where I changed these gigantic wheels, I will leave it in the description. But we're going to move on and we are going to start planning out the rest of the frame. So we're going to start taking off the handles and start planning out the frame. I don't think we're going to work on the bench yet. I think more important is to get the steering done and to get, probably you're just gonna get the frame done for now, and then we're gonna see about the steering. I'm gonna figure out if I'm gonna use an old car axle with all the steering and the steering rack and everything, or if I'm gonna build myself. I might use an old car one because that's gonna be way cheaper, I think, and easier for me. I do have wheels, so that's all good. We just need to kind of make them fit to whatever I'm gonna make them on. These are the wheels that I'm going to use. I got them in a scrapyard. I only paid $2 for them, and they are pretty much brand new tires made in Soviet Union, but fully brand new. Still have like little spikes on them, so these are perfect. They have their own bearings inside, but probably not going to use it and put a fully new bearing casing on it if we get a car one. And if we do use it, then we're going to use the bearings that are inside of it. But that's going to be our front wheels. I think it's going to match pretty well. And for the frame, I'm not sure if I'm going to build it myself from scratch or if I'm going to use this ones. These are pretty heavy duty and hefty pipes that were some sort of old Soviet gates. And I have 3 of them and I can get a lot more of them. My uncle has a stack of them. So probably one is just enough. So to put it as a frame. So I think it comes to the time where I need to just figure it out. And then also find a way to attach it to the original frame here. There is bolt holes, so we just need to make attachments for it and then figure out if this is a good option for me to have as with the pedals and have a floor on this one. I think I have some time to think. So as I was trying to dry fit it, kind of assemble it to see if this will work. As a platform, it works perfect. It is exactly the same fatness as I need. The wheels, when they are like this next to it, they are exactly the same width as the back, so that matches perfectly. But the problem is when you want to turn it, you need to turn it. So what I came up with is if I cut out a slice like this and flip it upside down so it goes inwards and it creates kind of a curve, that's going to create enough space for the wheel to turn fully. And I have marked exactly how much space the wheel needs. And if I do an angled cut, then it should just flip upside down and weld it on. So it sounds easy enough, but let's try it. So we're gonna start working with this. So as you saw, I finished the first one, and yeah, my welding, it has some problems here and there just because I was using a small cutting disc because I thought I don't have any of these big ones left. So I was making it cut one side and then cut the other side, and you can never get it that good. So I found the discs. I have 2 of those. This time it matches so well that it's fully shot, and it should fit both of them. It does have a bit of a gap, so I think I need to squeeze it all together just because I think it popped out of the pressure. So I'll try to squeeze it back together, and yeah, as you can see, the shape is forming. So that's going to be kind of the frame for the front. I think it's more than durable enough. It is quite a thick pipe, and the rust really was just surface. It was not really anything that causes structural damage. So let's get this kind of straightened and then I'll weld it. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you. I might just show you finished product because it's hard to film it on my own, and you have seen welding many times, so I'll just show it how it looks finished. So that's our day 1 progress. It's starting to look kind of funky. But yeah, if you can imagine now, the wheels are gonna be able to fully turn that way and also that way and that way. So I think that looks pretty good. More looks like I'm building some sort of race car, go-kart, rather than, you know, where it's gonna be. But it theoretically drives as fast as a go-kart, so it's kind of gonna be like that. I like these wheels, they look really retro. So, looks pretty cool. I don't know. Okay, time to go to sleep. Let's move on further in the next day. So now that that main frame is built, more or less, not really, you know, just the base of it, we can work on attaching it. So we have to remove all of this front guard. We use it for towing it as a lawnmower, and I put some more guards here for stepping, and it holds on the leg that holds it from falling. We don't need any of that, so we have to remove all of this, and then we have to cut the metal that we need. I have some angle iron, so we're gonna cut 2 plates of those, both on each side. 1 would be more than enough, but I'm gonna put 2 just to make this thing pretty much indestructible. And then I think I'm gonna cut the shape of the pipe and sit the pipe in and weld it on. I think that's gonna give me the best structure. So I really want the strength on this thing, because I'm not sure how much pressure is gonna go on it and what I'm gonna do with it. So we're gonna make it more rigid. So let's get started by removing all of this. So it is few days later. I have finished the frame, but I think that's just not enough for a video. So I've been to the scrap yard. It's actually a local friend of ours that let me go and get the parts off one of the cars. So it's an old car from the 80s. So it's really not the parts that are valuable for anyone to buy. So I just got them for like 20 euros. All of it I'm gonna show you was 20 euros. I got this one. This was the hardest part to remove from the car. And it's also going to be the hardest to adapt to fit. Then also we got this steering wheel. So this is from a front loader. He kind of just threw it in for free. And the bearing on it is just so great. So this is going to be a good steering wheel. We're just going to have to shorten it a bit and adapt it to fit onto this steering rack. So this is a completely different attachment. I couldn't get the one out so easily, and it was steering wheel missing anyways. So just a rod would be kind of useless. So I think I can just adapt it to fit. It's not like I need it perfect anyway. So let's get started by taking this thing apart. It's not all of it that I need. I don't need this axle here for drivetrain, so we're not gonna have a 4-wheel drive for now, but it will be there in case we do need it. I can also get the gearbox from this thing, so I could build a fully 4-wheel drive, but that's gonna be with a new engine, much more powerful with a gearbox, so that's a completely different project in theory. And then also I don't need suspension, because this suspension is not gonna work well on such a small machine. It's made for much heavier weight, so it's not gonna work. So let's get started by removing this, and also the brake calipers we don't need. We have to make more simple brakes. These are just not gonna work for such a small machine without an engine powering the vacuum tank that it needs for those brakes. So let's take it all apart and just leave what we need. So after like 20 minutes beating on it, hammering it with the drill, fully using up a battery and heating it up, finally it's starting to move, so I can get this bolt off. If I can't get this bolt off, I can't get the axle out, and I do need the axle gone because I don't need it and I don't feel like cutting it or destroying it, so I want to keep them in good shape, so in case I need them I can put them back. There we go. That was a fight. That was really seized. As you saw, I didn't film much of the welding because, well, first of all, it was too wide. I just did 4 dots and I checked it and it was too wide, so I had to cut it again. So now it's perfect width, but the welding is pretty difficult. I didn't film it because I was just trying to focus. So as I was explaining about the weld, Despina arrived and the babies were born for the goats. But now I'm back. It's been a while. So yeah, these welds did not crack. Usually when you weld cast iron, so this is cast iron, the weld will just crack because it's not a specific welding material. You need electrodes that are specifically for cast iron, but they're like €4 a piece. So to save some money, I welded once, and then quickly you just weld it twice. And that's gonna first time heat up the metal, and then second time is gonna secure the weld. If you want to weld cast iron, you can also just heat it up and then weld it. But I didn't want to spend a long time heating it and wasting electricity, so I'd rather just weld it once and then weld it twice again. And there's no cracks from both sides, so that should be quite secure. I don't think that's gonna snap, and I don't think we're ever gonna put the pressure on it for even close to getting snapped. So let's do now the other side, which needs cutting and making it. It needs to be kind of like one piece, no more movement, because it's not gonna have suspension in anymore. So I haven't filmed much of the progress. This might be quite a long video because I do want to show all of this assembled as well. So yeah, what I've done here, as you see, I've added this ones because naturally it was moving side to side. It's a complete different system that I'm taking it off. Theoretically speaking, I could have undone these screws and just went straight up here, just to keep the steering part. But these screws will definitely not come loose, and I think it's more messier just to mess around with this than just welding this. I had to re-weld this because it cracked, because this is cast iron and it is not easy to weld cast iron without the proper electrodes, and I did not want to buy them because they are very expensive, and I re-welded it and it looks good. This one's here also should keep it from cracking open, I think. So it's all nice and strong. I hope it's gonna survive. I think it's more durable than it should be for what it's gonna be used for. And then we also have this one. This is gonna be where it's gonna get attached. So it needs that movement side to side. So that's where it's gonna be from. So yeah, let's see how we're gonna attach it. And then we're gonna have to mess around with this steering rods. Those are the next challenge. But first we have to get this on and also get the wheels on so we can see exactly how high we need it. as you can see, the framework is done. So this is the basic frame. If you think it's a bit floppy, that's because I'm reusing some of the materials. I'm using this old fence gate thingy as my frame, and it's solid. And the car parts that I got, the old car parts, those are coming in handy. If I had to make this from scratch, it would definitely not be as robust, and it would definitely be a lot more complicated to make it myself. This has bushings inside and lots of things, you know, that you would expect on such a machine. And the bearings inside are heavy duty. There is brake rotors, so I could add brakes, because definitely need a way to stop it if you're going way too fast, or if you're on a hill, or even like to add handbrake to it. And yeah, I like also this one that I added, which means that I can lift up when you drive over something. It lifts this side up, but this stays all straight, so your load does not tip over, and also it prevents you from tipping over fully. So that's something that every tractor really has. So I wanted to add that. And that's pretty much it for this video. We have still a lot more work to do. We have to add a seat, add the steering, add a steering rack, and then we'll have to see about the bucket, what type of bucket we add. For now I have the wheelbarrow, the old one that we could add for now and then build one properly, or we just straight away go ahead and build a proper one. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we're gonna see you next time. Bye bye.
Good job.